Hello and welcome to Life with Collective Purpose. And today I have Sky Galowski, and she is actually calling in from Peru. So welcome, Sky.
Hi, Julie. Pleasure to be here. And that's right. I'm in the lovely town of Pisac in the Sacred Valley of the Incas, Peru at the moment. You can see the
Beautiful.
beautiful apus in the background there. That's Apu Linley, and Apu is the Quechua word for mountain or the mountain spirit.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. You know, it's so interesting that all the authors of this book are truly international and truly from around the world. We had Beth in the last interview from Israel, and you know, we've had all our authors representing, I think, pretty much quite a lot of corners of the world, and here is Sky in Peru. So Sky, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I'm Sky Grolowski, and here I am. So one of my favorite things at the moment is my new podcast. It's Wisdom for Conscious Living, and it's something that really ties in with the theme of this book. So it was actually a project I had been working on for a while because in my work as a business strategist for holistic practitioners, I meet all of these people with strong messages and all of these very, very niche skill sets and ideas and offerings. And I help them with their work and, their personal reach and their impact. But I'm always thinking like, more people need to know about this. And I become the biggest advocate of all of my clients. And so I've really wanted to build myself a platform where I get to talk more with these people and give other people the opportunity to connect with all these interesting people that I'm connecting with and help kind of shine my light on the light that I am finding and the things that are nourishing my life. So I was actually at Casa de Influencia,
Yes.
House of Influence, mind my Spanish, last year for a podcast workshop. And that's when I really started getting things going. And then it really took a bit of I took a bit of a vacation. I'm currently on vacation, but then I've been writing this chapter while I was on vacation. And it really gave me that forced shove to do the amount of reflection needed to really get the clarity on what I'm doing with this project. So it's really helped me like get to this clean slate of like, okay, now I know what I'm doing and here we go, we're off. So yeah, it's
That's
just amazing how everything all intertwines, right?
Yeah, and I love that, and I love that. You know, that's the beauty of when you really focus on writing your story. And you know, how often do we get to like literally explore what is my authentic self? You know, we go through life and we so very easily, just like you say, get influenced by different people or get pulled in by different people, and we only know what we know, right? So how do you actually get to really explore, you know, what is the authentic me? Like what is that version of me where I'm really being true to myself? And now what you're doing, Sky, through this process of writing the chapter in this book, is you're now actually showcasing and helping other people to ask that same question of themselves, right?
Yeah, that is a really huge part of it. One of the key questions that I encourage people to consider is this true for me? Like, is this true for me? It might be the truth as far as we've been taught. It might be the generally accepted way, but does this actually resonate? And is this going to contribute to my personal highest good? Like to block out everything else and not to be an individual and not a member of society, and to really I think the biggest thing for me is the freedom that comes with really deliberate participation in your life, asking why to everything we do. Is this a trained behavior, or is this something that I'm consciously and deliberately doing? Is this for my betterment, or is this something that I've picked up along the way and I'm just reproducing my environment again? So to really start thinking about these kind of things, because it's not until I go over this briefly in my chapter, but it's not until you start asking yourself these questions that you can really start deliberately walking an authentic path. Although, like, our authenticity is in direct relation with who we are in that current moment. and every single moment is an opportunity for self-improvement and development and whatnot. But to actually get to the point where you're deliberately participating in your own experience in every possible way, that's when you become a true creator of your life. So to
Right.
try and, yeah, help do my bit to contribute to providing enough information and concepts for others to kind of start playing with these ideas. And yeah, this is everybody's starting to find their voice in the last few years, I find, and it's a really
Mhm.
interesting time to be alive, and time to be paying attention to what's going on, because seeing the shift from, we're all kind of following along, and now it's people are talking out and people are getting serious. So to be a
Mhm.
part of that, and to, yeah, start spreading my own brand of love and light is just really, really exciting. And exciting to start connecting back with my community, as I've been out of touch for a little while, and really doing all of these things that are bettering my own life, and like taking control of my financial situation, becoming a published author, and working on my spiritual practices. And it's been very, very me orientated. And now I'm like, oh, I filled my cup and I am ready to like overflow and pour cups for everybody now. So
Oh
just
my God, Sky, I just have that picture. Like when you said that, I just have this picture of Sky pouring over onto everybody that she touches. So
yeah.
I love
That's
that
how it
because,
feels. Like, yeah, the
yeah,
reflected light that's coming out of me is just, yeah,
yeah.
so real right now.
Well, and that's, and that's, I think, that's why I love the concept of this book. I love the concept of the book that everybody that's in this book is taking a different angle in terms of what does it mean to be authentic? What is that journey to authenticity? And it really is a journey, because it's like you said, we don't, when we're in our 20s, or, when we're going through finding ourselves, actually finding what's true for us and who we are and what is our spiritual journey. You might be thinking that you're being true to yourself, but you're more than likely being really influenced by your peers and those people that have said, to be successful, you should be earning this amount of money, or you should be doing this, or you should have this type of job, or wearing these types of clothes, or whatever. We so very easily are influenced and we don't even realize it, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're influenced from every single thing from the absolute second that we're born. Everything around us is influencing us. And it's so interesting that, but under the age of 7, we're not discerning these choices. We're just a subconscious mind, and we're absorbing every single thing. So we take on every single thing as truth. And I
Yeah.
started to think, I'm like, I had no control over my life under 7. I had literally no control over it. I was institutionalized in the school system. I came home to my parents, and everything was kind of done for me. You sort of told what to think at that age. So I really put the effort in to go through and be like, should that be in my mind? No, it makes some more conscious choices about what's in there, how I think, and how I interact with my own life. And to, yeah, really, yeah. But I think a lot of people, I think it's the kind of theme at the moment. People are starting to wake up to this kind of stuff and go, but is this me? Does this work for me? And the
Mhm.
answer is so often no. And one thing I've noticed is the degree of resistance that I will receive with something. I always thought, like, I just have to push on. It's my fault. I'm lazy, yada, yada, yada. That coupled with the fact that even as a child, I was like, there's no point in art. There's no point in writing. I need to be able to make a living when I grow up. And then, is that what I'm here for? Not at
Right.
all. And so then to really start connecting with like my poetic side and the artistic side, and yeah, and enjoying these practices. And I think this writing this chapter, it was the first time since university that I have written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten something to the point of tears. And by the end of it, I was like, I don't even care. Just publish it. I don't want to read it again. But to really take the time to perfect my creation. And so that
Yes.
was a really, really special part for me.
I'm so glad you said that, because there's a lot of I think for a lot of people, misunderstandings about what does it mean to actually write a chapter in a book. You're like, what is the significance of that? Like, what does it actually mean, right? Because there's so many people in a lot of collaborative book projects where, yes, that chapter in a book is you know, representation of their brand or their business or whatever. But you know, what it truly is, and the journey that it should be, which is exactly as you're talking about, is this journey of discovery where you're actually rewriting and rewriting and rewriting, because you're like, actually, maybe that's not quite it. Oh, actually, maybe that's not quite it, because you've got people reflecting, you're reflecting on your own life, but then you've also got the team of editors that are also reflecting back to you and saying, do you really mean that? Or is that what you wanted to really say? Or, you know, and you get the opportunity to really just, as you say, go back to university, go back to that time and say, okay, let's re-examine this and say, what is this? And I love that, you know, that's truly what it means to be a published author, to actually have that self-discovery of discovering who you are and how you are representing yourself in the world, right? I mean, that is that's I don't think a lot of people realize the significance of being a published author in that regard.
No, definitely not. And because I came and had a meeting with you, a consult regarding one of my previous clients who was also looking, she's written a couple of books and also looking to get published professionally. So I've had several clients that have been in the same area where they want to be published, but I don't think many people really grasp what that means and the extent of work that goes into that. It's not
Yes.
just like you write something and then you send it off and then somebody takes it from there and publishes it. You've got to be really in it.
Yes.
And you've got to really love that piece of work that you're doing, and you've got to really commit to the process. And there's so many different people that are involved in the chain of producing that work. So it's a really, even if you're writing a book on your own, it's still such a collaborative process to actually get it over the finish line and be published professionally, as opposed to just what do you call it? Independent publishing
Self-publishing, where
or
you're
self-publishing. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that's, you know, a lot of people, you know, that's what they say, this is who I am and this is how I want to be seen in the world, without taking the time of that reflection time, which is, I think for a lot of people, it's frustrating. You know, like they want it to just, like you say, I want this just to be over, you know, I just want to publish this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that give up, particularly in the early stages. You know, I didn't sign up for this to be so hard, right? I thought you were just going to publish what I said, you know, this is
Yeah,
what
well,
I'm
I
saying.
tried to pull out a couple of times, and I messaged Jennifer and I was like, look, I'm just not going to be able to meet that deadline. I'm on a plane. Like, my priorities are completely elsewhere right now. And she's like, I'm going to continue as though you're still in it. And I was like, all right, well, I've told you when I'm going to be available to potentially hand something in. So if you're going to work under that assumption, I'll do what I can do. And then the way it worked out was just so perfect. But it was very like, I don't like being the one behind on the deadline. I'm quite comfortable when other people are. And I'm sitting there like, oh, that's okay. Take your time. It's no worries. But I was like, oh no, I'm last. And I can't string any thoughts together because I'm too stressed about producing this work. But it's just such a fun process in the end. And all the group meetings we had, the other women are so inspiring. And I think Anastasia had spent time in Peru as well, and I think that's in her
Yes.
chapter. So it was really nice to when I think I was just about to leave when we had the first group meeting, and she mentioned that, and I was like, oh, that's a sign that I am on the right path. I am following where I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great. Oh, yeah, I'm really excited for people to read this book, to get involved in other people's lives and be inspired by what is authenticity. You know, it's just that I'm so passionate about this topic, and I'm so glad that this is where we ended up going, you know, with the direction of this, because it's such deep work, right? It's such deep work for so many people, and we're able to really inspire people at that, like you say, the wisdom of consciousness, right? The
It is,
wisdom of
yeah.
consciousness.
Exactly. And we all have so much wisdom inside us from our journey so far, and everything that all of the dots that we've connected on our own. But I think you're right. The question of authenticity, like, it tripped me up when I
Yes.
was trying to write about that. And I was like, maybe I'm a fraud. Maybe I can't write this. Maybe I'm in the wrong group of people. But and then once the words, because I expect the words to start flowing. Like I've done a lot of writing in my past, but usually it's the well, it was for work, wasn't it? So it was marketing strategy and things like this. So report writing, that's all beautifully formatted and
Yes.
is advising other people, and it's not personal. So the
Yes.
things you had to keep telling me was, you need more personal story in there. And I was like, she's wrong. Like, no, no, that's not how I write, actually. But then once I finally just faced that and was like, yeah, okay, I think it was Elizabeth, the editor, had sent through my first or second round or something, and I was like, she had given me a bit of an understanding of like how the book's going with the other authors and like the kind of flow of everything, and I was like, oh man, like I could feel the personal story coming out, and that was such a process to dig deep to really get that, because
Mhm.
it wasn't a chapter to about, getting increasing my reach for my business or
Yes.
about what I do. It was about who I am and my personal
Yes.
journey. So it was raw. And
Yes.
it was very, there were some things where I'm like, am I really telling people about this? Like, this is my personal thoughts. I never thought I would tell anybody,
Yeah.
but it's what wanted to be written. So I just had to release that to the universe, let it be.
Yes.
And really just be in faith that what I'm sharing will, that is to the benefit. Like it's my life, it's my story. Share my truth
Yeah.
and allow that to be there for other people as a resource, because I've gone through many years of feeling completely isolated and like, what is wrong with me? Who am I? What am I doing? I need to get my life together kind of feeling. And then yeah, just allowing that to kind of flow. So to really share my experience with identifying authenticity and then being able to flow with it, I think is important, because it's still, you're being your authentic self, you're on your authentic path. There's still so many things coming in and trying to deflect from that or distract from that. And now I feel like I'm in a place, that sweet spot of like the discipline, and my mind is trained enough to like block out a lot of stuff where I'm like, okay, like I can just easily be me without all of the noise anymore. Like it really
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Yes. Yes. And it's very interesting because, I know your base is also Puerto Vallarta, as a few of the authors, their base is Puerto Vallarta. And it's amazing to understand that, when we live in a small city, that those influences, the influences from outside, and how one feeds on the other and one feeds on the other. And what it all comes down to is that the pack that's all trying to have the same opinion, or have that same on the same path. And the reality is, each of those people that are trying to join into one pack, they're trying to be something that is an expectation of what success is, or what it's supposed to look like. And lots of judgment, it's not supposed to be like this, it should be like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy to get pulled into that energy, particularly when you're in a small town like this is. What would you say to people, like, on your journey to authenticity and your own writing of the chapter and the frustrating experiences that you had? What would you say to people as a really good starting point to understand, what does it truly mean to be authentic to yourself?
Yeah. Um, Firstly, I think a lot of the things are, everybody, ultimately we are all one, right? So we're all seeking that resonance and that connection. And
Mhm.
I did it through the path of trying to find the success. And like, I went to business school and I have a double major in marketing and management. And I was like, okay, this is a career path and I am going to make my money this way. And I was trying to find resonance in that area, but I
Right.
found it so difficult.
Mhm.
And I was good at it, but I just really didn't like it. And then it wasn't until, so I kind of abandoned it for a little while. And it wasn't until I started meeting these more spiritually minded people, and these people that are serving their modalities and offering all these really amazing skill sets to the world. And a lot of them they don't have this business mind that I have. And so I would be there, like, throwing in my 2 cents with, well, maybe you should try this, or like, have you done this? Or let me just write you up a quick report real fast. Like, I just couldn't help myself but assist these people. And that's when I realized, I'm like, I have so much joy helping these particular people with this
Right.
work. So it was such a mindset shift of like, wow, I was just in the wrong place. Like
Right.
the skills I have are not invalid because I've decided that I'm going to walk a different path, but they're actually even more valid because there's less people that have the skill set that are available and able to resonate with the people that are, the spiritualists, the holistic practitioners. So it really gave me that kind of, okay, these are my people, and this makes it so much easier to do my work now that I've found the people that I truly love, and the clients that I'm not internally rolling my eyes at, but I'm like, oh
Right.
my gosh, I need to spread the word about your work. That's the passion. So I think, like, to go back to your original question, my initial guidance from people to give to people on finding their authentic selves is stop. Just stop what you're doing and just try and connect with your joy. And so
Mm.
this is how it really began for me. I was like, okay, well, if what, I can do anything I want. I was told that my entire life from my mother. And then I was like, but everything sucks. I don't want to do any of this. Like, okay, so I put on a brave face and I did all of the things and I made out like it was a good time, but I hadn't ever, even as a child, really just enjoyed anything. There was always something that had to be done, or like I had to be, oh, is everybody else having a good time? Is everything going okay? Is this the way it's supposed to be? Or am I having too much joy? Is this going to be embarrassing? Is it embarrassing to express joy in public? But just to stop and then really connect with that. And when am I most joyful? When I'm creating
Yes.
and connecting. So when I first started asking myself these questions, I didn't have anything that I felt connected to. And
Mm.
I was like, okay, I like going out and partying. But then after a while of really, really thinking about that, and I mean years of really thinking about that, I didn't really like it. It's really loud. I don't like the
Mm.
smells. I don't like the way it feels in my body. I don't like being that close to people.
Mm.
But it was just a way to connect with others. So
Right.
it served its purpose, but I'm I think that was the biggest hurdle to get over, was to find new ways to connect and to resonate, new things to resonate with. But you can't do that until you start trying new things. So if you do start to question, like, where is my joy and what resonates with me, and you come up with nothing, just start trying new things. Even if they're things that you don't like. Like, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go to a yoga class. And I was like, sound healing? People pay money to lay on the ground and listen to music. Now sound healing is like one of my favorite things to do. I'm like, yes, fawn over me with your smelly burnables and play me beautiful music. I love this. This is perfect. But it's just like what we enjoy changes. And as we're starting to become more aware and like consciously focusing on and identifying things that don't serve us, even though it can be hard and uncomfortable, the more we identify this, the more we give ourselves the opportunity to grow. And then the more we're like, okay, well, I'm just not going to do that anymore. And we go in different directions. And so just looking at the kind of things I derive fun and joy out of now, it's so different from 5 years ago.
Yes.
It's just incredible. And I really see that as a testament. I'm like, if I can make this much change, nobody is lost. Anybody can do anything. If I can go from there to here and now have this kind of mindset of consciously creating and deliberately participating in my life in every aspect, anybody can do it, because I was so closed off to all of this. Like 5 years ago, me wouldn't have been able to handle right now me for 5 minutes. She would have had some choice words to say, and she would have been out of there. But
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So it's incredible.
And definitely travel is a catalyst for that. I mean,
Hmm.
I look at my life and the people that I left behind in England, and I look at them and I'm like, they're the same people. They haven't grown or developed, or they haven't broken out into being what I would think of as their true authentic self, because they've stayed in this kind of box. And that's all they know. All they know is that they got to make a certain amount of money to pay their bills, and that's it, right? I mean, literally, that
Yeah.
is how they're living their life. And living the life the way I live, it's like, it's so different. It's such a different life, and a lot of people don't understand that. Like
They
they
don't.
really don't understand, because their world is so closed in, right? They only know this one version of, this is how you should live your life. So I think travel is that opportunity where you get to experience different cultures, different people, and you get to start to forming like those opinions of, oh, I'm really enjoying myself. Like this feels good inside,
Hmm.
when I'm in nature, or when I can look at the mountains in the background, or, when I can feel the sun on my skin, or, like you start to understand, I mean, I used to live in the middle of the country in England. And I think I saw the beach maybe, one time a year, and then it was
Wow.
gray, and it was not something that I was even on my radar. And now I'm so passionate about it. When I look at, well, what brings me joy, I'm like, I have to live on the beach. I got to be in on the beach next to the ocean. Like that is like so important to me. And I'm just like, but those people, they don't understand. The people in England have no idea when I say that. They're like, well, what's with the beach? Like, so what? Right? Because they've never experienced it. They've not had that experience.
Yeah.
So
And I
I
think to
think
have it,
travel.
that's because you have it and I have it as well as our lives. We've made the choice that no, we this is going to be our lifestyle. We're going to live vacation like lives.
Yes.
Whereas the people you're talking about it, they're in that mindset of, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to pay my bills, I've got to work, and da 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 da. But they're closed off to opportunity. When you're in the I've got tos, then you're consciously putting your attention and your energy on what has to happen in order for XYZ to have to happen. Instead of being in question of like, what else is there? What else can I do? Like, okay, I want to live a vacation lifestyle. And now what else do I want? And keeping in question, allowing the opportunities to flow. Like even going traveling, it's still you're exposing yourself to extensive opportunities for growth in every possible way, but to use your free will to make that conscious decision, the
Mhm.
choice to actually live your life on purpose and decide, set. That's it. I say, I don't have dreams, I have goals, because it's not some pipe dream. It's something, once I decide I want something, it goes on my daily list of goals that I write about, and then I'm going towards it.
Yes.
So to really go from that, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, to being the creator of your life, of like, what am I creating in this moment? What is this thought creating? And to be able to
Mhm.
observe oneself in such a manner when you're like, okay, that was a negative thought. Like, that's not creating anything good. Like that one can leave. I don't need that anymore. And just to be able to discern between like, okay, this is going towards what I want and this is going away. So I'm going to
Yeah.
make the choices that take me closer to what I want. And it
Yes.
gets, and once you get in the swing of that, it just becomes so easy and you're like, oh, okay, well that doesn't resonate. Bye. Not going to worry about that. Bye. And you just keep it going, and like the opportunities that present themselves when you're in that state of question and allowing opportunities to come to you, it
Mhm.
just it changes everything. Instead of the like, oh, I've got to do this, got to do that. You don't know what's going to happen. Like if you stay open enough, you could receive all sorts of incredible miracles. And
Yes.
that's where I'm
Yes.
at. I'm like, I'm just allowing the miracles to fall in while I deliberately live my life, not
Yes.
just haphazardly and see what happens and I'll see how I feel after this. I'm making the choice that I'm going to be happy and I'm going to do things that make me happy and I'm going to Like I just finished a hike with my husband and my dog, and a friend flew down from the States, and we hiked the Salcantay Trail to Machu Picchu, to Aguas Calientes, and then went to Machu Picchu. And it was incredible. But partway through, as we're hiking up the actual pass of the Salcantay Mountains, and we are up super early, and it's cold, and it's so steep, and it's altitude, and you can't really breathe. And I'm
Wow.
like, so this is what I think fun is? Like, I am struggling right now. I'm like, is this fun for me? But I'm like, well, I don't have a choice now. Like, this is now, I've just got to keep on going. But then once I got up to the top there and I could take those moments to really appreciate it, I'm like, yeah, this is what's fun for me. Pushing through and reaching goals, and like without that contrast of it being a struggle. If I just like woke up in the morning and looked out the window and there was, oh, look, the mountain's great, it wouldn't have felt as unreal. It wouldn't have felt like I deserved it. I earned that view. I earned
Yes.
that experience. And it's just so much more rewarding. So
Yeah.
it's like not just to wake up and have everything you want, but it's to the process of actually achieving it is so fulfilling.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's something like we get stuck in the it not being done fast enough, or like, oh, I want to have a podcast, but all the work leading up to it, or I want to be a published author, but I don't want to do 3 rounds of edits and like group phone calls or something. But you just, yeah, that adds to the joy. And I
Yes.
think the joy of achievement is in direct relation to the amount of work and like the contrast that we've received along the way.
I just love what you said there, Sky. I mean, it's the 10,000 hours, right? People think that success is earned. Like, you got to put your 10,000 hours in. You got to do the work. You got to climb that mountain before you see the beautiful view at the top, right? So that's
Yeah,
that's that's a great metaphor. That's fabulous. I love it.
it
I love it.
is.
Okay, well, this has been a fantastic conversation. I can't wait for people to read your chapter and to truly understand how they could get to be on an authentic journey in their life. What is the best way to get hold of you, Sky, for people who would like to connect with you?
So I update my link tree often, and so all my new websites, social medias, and things like that. And my email's also on there. So Linktree, linktr.ee/Sky Grolowski,
Okay.
SkyGrolowski.
Okay,
Um,
that's great. And we will also put that on the show notes as well, so that everybody can get hold of you and get all of the latest information from Sky. What's it called again? Sorry.
It's a Linktree
Linktree.
with a dot before the two e's at the end.
Okay, Linktree and Sky's name. So thank you so much for being here with me, and we will see you soon. When are you back in Puerto Vallarta?
So I arrived back at the beginning of July. So I unfortunately missed the launch, but I'm in Wi-Fi now to have this interview. So that is that's kind of the trade-off. But thank you
Yes.
so much. It's been a delight to catch up with you. I look forward to seeing you when I return. And if anyone would like to reach out just to say hi or connect or be friends or what have you, feel free to send me an email or connect on one of the social medias and whatnot. I'd love to hear from you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sky, and thanks for sharing all of your secrets about authenticity.
Oh, you're welcome anytime. Try and stop me.
Thank you.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye.